Amazon is looking to avoid the blame for raising prices as a result of President Trump's new tariffs. The e-commerce giant will begin displaying how much the tariffs are adding to the price of its good right next to the product's list price. That's something we heard from Volkswagen originally as soon as these tariffs were announced, and I wouldn't be surprised to see lots of retailers kind of show you a line item of what exactly it's costing you because they don't want to be accused of gouging.
And you know they will be.
Hi, Mr. Secretary. So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And Secretary, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I would also add that the bringing down the terrible Biden inflation has been a priority for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and President Trump has done a great job of leading that since January 20th. Interest rates, mortgage rates are down, gasoline and energy prices are down. We're expecting the further decreases. And as Caroline said, the big tax on consumers that goes unnoticed is deregulation or regulation, and we are deregulating and bringing that down. So, from a household income point of view, we would expect real purchasing increases. We've seen them over the first 100 days, and we would expect that to accelerate. We are doing peace deals, trade deals, tax deals, and deregulating. And the deregulation is a longer lead time, but I think by the third and fourth quarters, that's really going to kick in.
Shalom. Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH is giving our praise to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, double honors to our teachers, and elders, and apostles, the great millstone who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful legacy of the brass. Like I had to run. Not a good idea. But it says, this article, okay, it says, this is off a news break. It says, UPS to lay off 20,000 employees amid Amazon shipping rollback. All right, as you've seen in the post-production, Amazon is talking about they're going to put the price of inflation, or the price that, Trump's tariffs has caused them, or, next to the original price. Which Trump, they're going back and forth. They're becoming reservoir dogs. He's blaming Biden. Every time somebody questions Trump, he just brings up Biden. Which shows you that this place is through, man. Okay, these companies are that Trump was doing this for to come back to America. They're doubling down on staying out of America. All right, and Trump said it was a hostile attack. Which really, just go to show you that this place is through, man. All right. The Egyptians shall fight against the Egyptians. These Edomites, are at each other's throats, you know, and that's what happens when you have a failing society. Everybody becomes reservoir dogs. Everybody's concerned with with self-preservation. You know, they're not on the same page. It says the company previously reached an agreement with Amazon to reduce their volume in our network by more than 50% by June of 2026. Okay, which is, you know, they're saying how, you know, coming this June, you know, by July 4th, you're going to see a major change, you know. So they're planning on laying off 20,000, you know, employees at the UPS. All right, so this is another one of the grinding ceasing. All these jobs are, you know, getting scarce. You know, they're going to land a lot of people are losing their jobs. You know, which means that this economy is going to fail. If people don't have jobs, they don't have any money to buy anything. Which means that, you know, the stores that are, or the businesses that do survive, they're going to be out of business soon too. You know, it's only a matter of time. It says UPS is laying off 20,000 employees as it continues cost-cutting efforts tied to a steep reduction in delivery volume from Amazon, its largest the largest customer. So, because of these tariffs and stuff, people ain't buying stuff like they used to, man. Okay, you ain't gonna get that same day delivery as well. You got China, the ports, which I'm gonna go into that too in another video. These ports are empty right now. All right, which means nothing is coming in. If you go a day, a week, a month without nothing coming in your ports, you're going to see the effect on the, you know, on the shelves in these stores. That's why they met up with Trump and they was talking about empty shelves. All right, because these shelves are going to be empty, and that means what are on the shelves, the price is going to go up. You know, going into hyperinflation, and pretty soon, you know, the cost of living in products is already ridiculous here, but it's about to skyrocket. You ain't seen nothing yet. It says the shipment giant previously reached an agreement with Amazon to reduce their volume in our network by more than 50% by June of 2026. CEO Carol noted on the company's Q1 earnings call on Tuesday. More specifically, UPS is rolling back its Amazon fulfillment center outbound volume. And that's another thing too. They're saying how Amazon is saying how they're letting go of the seasonal workers. Yeah, man. You know, we in that time where all these companies are going to start cutting and letting people go, laying people off. All right. It says, I'm not going to read all this, but it says, which is not profitable for us, nor a healthy fit for our network. That pullback plan is running ahead of schedule. And now the layoffs align with the plan to lessen up UPS's dependency on labor. Yeah, so, and this is just all these delivery companies, all these trucking companies, they're all being laid off. People, you got truckers going to the ports and they're getting sent home, you know, with no work. So, you know, this is a domino effect, okay? I'm not going to read all this, but you get the picture. All right, UPS to lay off 20,000 employees amid Amazon shipping rollback. So let's go right here. This says, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1, it says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, and the evil days are coming. All right, we ain't seen nothing yet. It's about to get really, 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 really bad out here. It says, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. The Lord gonna, you know, you don't want the Lord to have no pleasure in this time we coming into. In the NLT it says, honor him with your youth before you grow old and say, life is not pleasant anymore. You see, so you're supposed to be searching and seeking YAHAWASHI right now. Okay, don't wait till you get older or, you know, time runs out and now you want to start seeking the Lord. Nah, man. You know, it says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. And these economists, they're trembling right now. They're projecting that this place is going to go under very soon. You know, it's only a matter of time. And we can't wait because we're tired of this place anyways. We're trying to get hell up out of here. We understand that we got to go through hell to get to heaven. Okay? Amen. Let's just get it over with. It says, the strong men shall bow themselves and the grinders cease because they are few. Yeah, because it's going to be, with all these layoffs, that means it's going to be few workers, and then ultimately it's all going to cease. They said by July 4th, you can see a major stop in, you know, everything here in America. They're saying, you know, I saw you know, some documents saying they're projecting that by June 2nd, You know, you might have major blackouts here in America. Okay, so don't be surprised. It says you got Canada still talking about turning out the lights here. You know, it says because there are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. The future of this place is looking very bleak. It says, and the doors be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. All the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, people are realizing that this place is over with. You know, you got people that came to this country that's leaving because they're realizing that the American dream is not for them. It's not happening. It's not realistic. In the NLT, it says, remember him before the door to life's opportunities is closed and the sound of work fades. Now you rise at the first chirping of the birds, but then all their sounds will grow faint. You see? So the opportunity, the door to life's opportunities is shutting, which means businesses to shop, places that you can work at. Okay, you got people going, you know, and working these jobs that, you know, don't pay nothing because they have no choice. You know, that's the only thing that they can find. You know, if they can even get that. Let's go over here. I've been bringing this out too. Because your way of life is about to change drastically, and people don't realize that. They still think it's a game. They think it's going to all go away, going to come back. No, this place is done. It says 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31. It says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And people, they abuse Amazon. You know, they just buy all kind of shit that they don't even need. What's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to buy anything off of Amazon, even the things that you do need. It says in the NLT, those who use the things of the world should not become attached to them, for this world as we know it will soon pass away. This world as we know it is passing away, man. The Lord is done with this place. So in return, you got to get right with Yahweh BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, repent. You know, come back in truth and sincerity in hopes that you can be delivered. It says 2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 42. He answered me then and said, this present life is not the end where much a glory doth abide. And you got Jake that think that this is the end all be all. America is all that, you know, is all that will ever be. No, just like, you know, any ancient society or kingdom, they all came and left. They all, you know, reigned and fell. So America is no different. America is reigning right now, but as we see as well, it's ultimately falling. Okay, the end of a thing thereof is better than the beginning. So we're coming to the end of this kingdom, America, and Edomite hegemony. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and that's how this place is going to come to an end. It's going to be a day of doom, and the beginning of the immortality for it to come, wherein corruption is past, and temperance is at an end, and fidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory. And that's the whole point. We're about to get the victory, man. Okay, this is going to bring in the end of our suffering, man. Okay, let me grab this to good case. You see, because people thought that it was going to be okay. It was all good. It says, this is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 18, verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? It's going to get real bad out here. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear with the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils come? It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Here's the point. Behold, victual shall be so good, cheap upon earth, they shall think themselves to be in a good case. So people think just because they can still go out and buy certain things, and you know, whether you barely afford it or not, they think they're in a good case. You know, they think it's all gonna be all right. But truth be told, man, as time goes on, it's just gonna get worse. You know, that chokehold is gonna get tighter and tighter. You know, until you just tap out, you just pass out. You know, it says but for all these they shall not turn from their. Oh, okay, I read that, Salakia. They shall think themselves to be in a good case. People thinking that they think they're good. They think it's all gonna be okay. You know, you go to your church on Sunday and the pastor tell you, prosperity, now is your time. No, it's over. It says, and even then shall evils, bad times, grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see? Great confusion. People gonna be, you know, perplexed, puzzled. They're gonna be trying to get it however they can. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. You're gonna starve to death. You know, because that means with no truckers, that means nothing is going into these stores. There's nothing coming into the stores and nothing coming out of those stores. It says, and the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. So if you say you do got food, somebody come in your house to take your food, okay? You got preppers, and then that's prepping food and supplies, and you got other preppers that are prepping guns and ammunition, okay? And they're going to clash. So it's only a matter of time before this place is over with. Pray to YAHAWAH shall have mercy, and the Lord have mercy upon us, and continue to deal, you know, in truth and sincerity in these last days. Stay circumspect, so we at the end of this place. Shalom, kama shalala, about